is every single client has their own cool, hey, let's invest in real estate, but if we're gonna do it, let's do it. The biggest product there was this, what we call high frequency marketing. And so our goal when we kind of started with, if you're interested, I can give you a call. And then the voice AI goes, the moment they say yes, they'll be like, I'd rather just speak to the bot really quick because I know there's, but our most successful product has been what we call a high frequency roadmap.
I'm sitting here, Jon Bast, with cardealer.ai in Fort Collins, Colorado. You're doing some amazing things with car dealerships and reactivating old customers and using AI on multiple fronts to get customers into car dealerships. And you're having amazing success at it. Thank you for coming, and then tell us about yourself and tell us about Car Dealer AI.
Excellent. Thanks for the intro, Clayton. Yeah, so a little background on myself. I have been in automotive marketing my entire career. That started in 2012 in digital advertising mainly. And then we started our own agency in 2017 called T3 Marketing. T3 Marketing does a lot of things, but our most successful product has been what we call a high frequency roadmap, which is where we pull data of people, whether they're past customers or even conquest customers that have never worked with that dealership. And we deploy email, SMS, mail, and actually manual human phone calls. Now you have to clarify that it's human phone calls, but where we actually call a list of people to try to get them in, mainly to either buy back their vehicle or reduce their APR, or we also do like discharge bankruptcy, and there's a bunch of different categories there. About a year ago, we said, hey, let's just shift all of our products, just convert all of our products into what they are now, from what they are now to AI. And starting with that roadmap, and we sort of just stopped right there for right now. We didn't really find the need to have any other products converted because that one was having so much incredible success. To give you a good idea of the pricing before and after, we sell our old school roadmap for about $15,000 and it receives about a 1 to 2% response rate. Um, this one we sell for about $2,500, so a fraction of the price, and the response rate is about 4 times the amount that the direct mail, email, phone call combo was. And we were also able to just make a lot more of those outreach numbers. So the quantities are also a lot higher as well. It's been incredible, so incredible that our dealers, our clients have even said, hey, this is way better than our current employees. Can this just, we call her Summer for the buyback event. And they're like, hey, can Summer just be an employee of my dealership and handle every single conversation? So that turned into our vision. So starting off with just this buyback bot, now we have this vision of replacing all conversations inside and outside of a car dealership, starting with outside of a car dealership. The goal really to get them into the showroom and let the humans deal with them from there.
Yeah.
But we've recognized that there are a lot of different sales tactics that any sales training would typically train a sales rep inside of a dealership to do, ways to mine the data that's in front of you of old customers and how to sell them, get them back in for service or get them back in to purchase another vehicle or trade in their vehicle, upgrade, lease pull aheads, looking at their APR, like I was saying before, and seeing what rates are right now or what their current credit score is and what we can get them approved at. All those types of conversations should happen by the sales reps. But the sales reps are honestly either too lazy sitting on Facebook, or they're out in the lot trying to vulture the customers that are coming up, um, or they're just on the showroom, selling cars, which is what we want.
Yeah.
And the AI can be that component where a lot of times dealerships already recognize this pain point, so then they outsource it to what's called a BDC. And when they outsource that, that can be anywhere between ten to $20,000. So now we are selling individual agents for about two thousand to $2,500. Each agent has its own strategy and conversation that it's programmed to do.
Wait, say that again. The last part, you're selling for how much?
So when I talk about the pricing, it is pricing per agent. So we have
Oh,
we have
cool.
Summer who does our buyback outreach. Then we have April who does all of our service outreach. and we have Avery, who is the inbound receptionist. And so then they're buying these individual agents.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable sharing pricing on that? Or do you do a demo meeting first before you do that?
Yeah, the pricing's super simple. So we sell one agent for 2,500 bucks. If they decide that they want 2 to 5 agents or two or more, then it's $2,000 an agent.
Okay.
Mhm.
And on the sales side, when you book meetings, do you charge per meeting or are you just flat rate for the
No,
agent?
it's just pretty much like a SaaS
Okay.
subscription model.
Very
And
cool.
yeah.
And so they're using, and then you're activating their database, or they're going into your CRM, and you're doing all the texting out of there in Twilio or something like that, and then you charge them per text usage or something like that.
So we charge for all the outbound campaigns, stay within our limits of usage.
Okay.
Inbounds, we do charge after they go over 2,000 minutes. So
Okay.
for 2,000, for whatever the price is, it includes 2,000.
Standard.
We do incur costs for every single text message that goes out
Yeah.
and every single minute that happens.
No, we get the same thing. We use it in Twilio. And amazing, like I pay a lot of overages, but it's so well worth it because it works so well. And in your case, and I'm glad that I had you on because like your use case is perfect example of how AI text and voice should be used. And then to be able to maximize a business's blank time and enhance the human's ability to get people into the door and sell them and present them, new product. Like what you're doing is perfectly suited for AI, and you can scale that so easily, so well. And I imagine you're implementing that's pretty quick, right? How long does it take you from when a dealership says, "Okay, let's go"? How long does it take you to get it up and running?
Yeah, super quick. They're the slowest part because they have to somehow give us access to the data. So dealerships data is really well protected. Luckily, because we've been in this for such a long time, we know how to either remote access into their system, or we're an approved data vendor for a lot of the major systems. And then
Okay.
they just have to approve us as their vendor, and then we
Okay.
go in and access it via API. And that's really the longest part. I guess the only other longest part, which is a cool part, but makes it a little less productized, is every single client has their own cool creative idea. They're like, oh, well, now that you have this tool, can it reach out to these people with this strategy and this message and do this? And then so that might take us about a week to have our prompt engineers go through and revise the strategy specifically for them.
That's cool. Let's talk about that a little bit. So I'm a car dealership, and I know that this certain sector customers bought Mercedes-Benz, and I want to hit them up with a new one that just came out. Can you tailor one to a campaign like that?
Yeah, yeah, totally. So it could be like a model to model upgrade. So that data segment would be a little smaller, but that's okay. And so then we would have to program an agent that just has exactly that conversation.
Okay.
Um, there's also somebody else. We had a client that we were selling a recall bot to. So this recall agent goes through the database, matches up every single customer and any relevant recalls, and then it's able to actually reference that database on the phone call. So it's not like every recall needs a new agent. It just says, okay, here's the full recall list of all the different recalls based on what model, make and model we believe, or that we sold to them at least. And then they said, okay, yes, we could do that. But also, we're under new ownership. We have a new name. Not everybody's going to know us. Let's offer a $25 gift card to every single customer that has ever done business with this Nissan dealership
Okay.
and let them know that we're under new management and we want to get them back in for, a $25 discount.
Okay. Very cool. And so you say you have a sales bot, a service bot, and did you say a third bot?
So sales and service outbound. And then we
Right.
also have two others that are more classified as inbound. So we can do a receptionist
Receptionist.
where so receptionist and then what we call speed to lead. Speed to lead is where they're an actual employee inside of the CRM. They're receiving leads from sites like Auto Trader, Car Gurus, their own personal website. They're receiving all these form fill leads. And then they can go ahead and reach out via email, SMS, and actually start initiating a phone call. Because once that lead comes in, that's an opt-in for us to
Okay.
go ahead and give them a phone call. Right
Yeah.
now, we are using Twilio numbers, but something that's really cool in the short-term roadmap is we're partnering with a real telecommunications company where we can actually attach caller ID to our agents or our phone number. So instead of it just saying, so
Uh-huh.
if you reach out with a Twilio number, most of the time it says spam likely. And but if you reach out with our new connection, it will actually say ABC Honda from the get-go. So even if that's
So you're using their ABC Honda's business registration information with the telco provider, and then they're
yeah, so
providing caller
it's a
ID.
quick approval and a W-9 from the client, and then we have a direct communication with like Verizon, for
Okay.
example, that gives us that number.
Do they already have to be a Verizon customer to make that work?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So
I'm asking the tech geeky questions because I'm always looking for new solutions for our clients as well. Because we're heavy into Twilio as well. It works very well, but yeah, you know that half of those go to spam.
yeah, the other thing that we have messed around with a little bit, but we haven't perfected yet, is you can do what's called SIP trunking. And that actually allows you to take their landline number and just plug it in. So that way the approvals are already done. We've found it's going to be a much easier onboarding process to just have our own, setup over here.
SIP trunking, and that's for outbound calls rather than texting or more than texting.
Yeah, yeah, outbound calls just to remove that spam blocker
Yeah,
to the
that's
phone
good.
number.
That's smart, and that's key to being able to hit the inbox or hit the non-spam alert on an inbound call.
Yeah, and thinking about the receptionist for a second, the one amazing, like super cool thing, and you have to get yourself out of this old school mindset and sort of start rethinking things. But our clients have that sign up for this receptionist. They're like, well, we have things covered in service. So let's just do press one for sales and then it goes to your agent, or press two for service and then it goes to us. And we have to remind them like AI doesn't need press one, press two, press three. AI is just going to
Oh,
pick up the phone just
yeah.
like a real human at the desk and try to figure out what their needs are. Then they can process the phone. So that created another weird challenge is that when the AI receptionist transfers to another AI receptionist, like another AI person, so the AI receptionist needs to transfer to an AI salesperson. So we actually had to change the voice because she was transferring to herself. And
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
crazy. It's like AI is really communicating with AI and navigating this.
That's the way it's going too. I mean, you're basically having two bots battle it out to handle customer needs, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So yeah, that's funny to have two of your bots having to talk to each other to get to the goal. But I imagine that's very common. I mean, I can think of other certain scenarios where that's okay. Very cool. I like that. And you can scale this. Like you can serve. Is there a certain type of dealership that you service better, size wise, limitations? Like who's your ideal customer? ICP.
Yes. So the ideal customer is a franchise car dealership, so a new car dealership or a high volume used car dealership.
Okay.
What makes this most successful for inbound? It really works for anybody. That could be a pre-owned dealership to anything. We say that it's easier to sell something that will incrementally drive revenue, and that's why we like selling the outbound bots. The inbound bots potentially could reduce on staffing costs if they choose to go that approach. But that's a much more delicate conversation most of the time. But just showing them, hey, we can generate more sales that you don't have right now is a much easier path to doing business with somebody. But because of that, we are not reaching out to conquest types of customers or third-party databases just for compliance purposes right now. We're
Okay.
only working with their database. So dealerships that have been around for a long time are really great. We've had a couple dealerships come and go really quickly, and that's okay. But that's because they've only sold 2,000 vehicles in their entire life. So we can do that in 1 month or 2 months. And so, but now we have dealerships coming to us that are like, hey, I have 100,000 people in my database. Could you go ahead and reach out to them? And so then we're creating 12-month plans on reaching out to them. And that's really the perfect type of customer for us right now. And in
Okay.
terms of scalability, right now we're building into our platform a DIY component of it. And so the idea is that every single client will still do the done for you, the full service approach, but we will do it through our platform that you also could launch campaigns with. We are getting with this AI wave. Now everybody, even the non-techie people are like, I want to learn how to do this. I want to be able to play with it. And so people are like, have you tried other voices? Have you done this? And we're like, yeah, we have a few voices that we really, really like, but we're okay with handing over the keys and letting them play with voices and test and actually be able to see the transcripts and do some of the stuff that we're doing, but on a much more simplistic version and something that provides our infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, there's a lot of logic behind this of and a lot of API pulls. For example, it can pull trade values on a vehicle live through Kelly
Ooh,
Blue Book. It can also, or this is what we're working on next, is it should be able to do soft credit pulls on side of there and then actually match that soft or that credit score to, or what's called a Vantage score to banking
like,
networks that we have and
yeah.
actually be able to like pre-qualify for somebody for a loan and show them what the payments would be, also accessing inventory. So all of that is going to be the infrastructure alongside of strategy and things like pronunciation. So it says F-150 instead of F minus 150 and stuff like that. We have to put into it.
Yeah, yeah. Logic. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Is there anything else about the business or the app or the technology that we need to know about that you haven't covered?
Not really. I mean, I think that's the gist of it. We are also opening the reception component to other types of businesses. So we are actually working with a roofing company, a med spa, and self-storage business. So if anybody else is listening and says, "Hey, I
Yeah.
could utilize this for my business," we do build custom strategies for these other businesses.
And approximately 2000 a month that it costs for those as well.
Honestly, we're doing those for 9.99 just because
Oh,
we
very cool.
recognize that small business is smaller budgets and we want to appreciate that. And
Okay.
then
Smart.
for currently, at least right now, this might not be always, but right now we're offering free setups for if you prepay your first month payment, then we're actually building completely custom agents for you. So like right now we're working with a self-storage company that just does portable self-storage. So they actually deliver the units to your location and they have a bunch of really creative deals on how they do this, sort of like the pods structure, but more
Okay.
just local to one major city and then they had sales training and it was really actually a cool project because they had 4,000 recorded phone calls. So then we're taking those 4,000 phone calls, we're putting them into an AI database essentially like magic Google Sheets, but
Train the
database
bot.
version, engineer version. And then they're actually doing an analysis on every single phone call with AI and
Yeah.
then consolidating that information to figure out what the difference between the sales training and the actual result is because the
That's smart.
scripts are kind of a little bit different and we want it to
Yeah.
sound more human and the sales training scripts are not very human. They're going to be
Yeah.
if somebody's really saying that they're going to sound kind of funny.
Yeah. That's smart. I like that. Train the bot. And yeah, company I like when companies have more data to be able to help with that too. Because we do AI implementations and we always say like the more data you have up front, more SOPs and recordings and everything, the better an AI implementation will be.
Yeah, so it can get really, really complex. And then it's just about how to make it sound more human. And the first
Yeah.
version always sounds a little robotic, and then we're like, oh, well, they wouldn't say that the appointment is set for September 25th, 2025. They would just say it's set for 2 days from now, or
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
stuff like that. We're just constantly tweaking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so very cool. Now, if you somebody you have cardealer.ai for dealerships for how about other companies that want a voice bot and a receptionist or sales, do they still come to Car Dealer AI? Do you have a different website for that?
So the brand for that is called Top Marketer. Marketer is no vowels, marktr.com. And that is
Okay,
our marketing agency for small businesses that has lately mainly just been doing AI systems. So we mainly the conversational AI, but we've also created like custom N8N systems. Now that we have this massive team of AI engineers, we're just keeping them busy with client demand.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's the coolest? So you talk about N8N. What's the coolest automation you've built that's game changing, that's helped a client or industry the most, like that you're proudest of? Like what do you see that's hot right now? Tell us about what you think about N8N and automations and what companies can do.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of the N8N stuff. can be kind of boring. And so the conversational AI is the fun, flashy toy. Not that N8N is boring, but the requests that we get are more like, hey, this is how I develop a strategy. Like, for example, we had another marketing agency that said, hey, I take in these phone calls, then I ask them a list of different questions, and then I develop their website. So then we went, we sat with them and said, okay, well, what do you think about when you're hearing these questions and then you're developing a homepage? And they're like, okay, well, I have this section and this section and this section. And then so we're developing the copy and then we're developing like five options for every single one. What I envision for this, which isn't created yet, is right now some of these companies are coming out with these Zoom agents that can actually hop on the phone and actually have a live call. This can easily be a telephone call right now, but sometimes the telephone calls, when they get too long, they shut off, and we don't want that to happen. So we're hoping that the Zoom agents will be more reliable for longer phone calls and actually be able to have that level of discovery with somebody and actually give them a deeper dive into their business and then be able to generate whether it's just homepage copy. We don't believe that AI design is really there yet, but
Yeah.
there are platforms like Lovable that are very acceptable, startup business website looks. And, they might not have all of your branding and everything, but I'd imagine we'd be able to evolve that to a point where you can have a quick 1 hour Zoom call with an AI agent to deep dive into your business. And then you should have, I'm sure you're familiar with the Alex Hormozy books and all that. And, thinking about those types of marketing strategies, story brand, Alex Hormozy, Russell Brunson. And then I think it'd be really, really cool if it could just deliver your entire marketing plan, your pricing strategy, your website, your cold email series, like all of that. That's one
Yeah.
thing that we're excited to work on because that's also what Top Marketer does. And so again, just with the mindset of how do we convert every product that we have into AI?
Voice AI hiring solution. So the first line of hiring a labor force is that 15 to 30-minute call where you're gauging whether or not this person's real, shows up on time, has any disorders or challenges, or may not be a good fit, or is a fabulous fit. That 30 minutes takes up somebody's time every week, a
Mhm.
lot of time. So we're doing an N8N voice AI to Zoom video interview where the bot will interview them and then send it back to their Airtable and say, here you go, you got a good candidate. Claude will grade it and say, here's the candidate did very well, or this candidate showed up late and had an attitude. So we're
Oh,
developing
I
that.
love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. It's crazy to think about what you can do. I was invited to speak to a small group of entrepreneurs I created this presentation that I called Advanced AI for Beginners. And so it's not beginner AI, it's, hey, I've already been using ChatGPT for years, and now I want to take it to the next level. And that's where I was introducing Zapier AI, Make.com, and N8N, but trying to inspire an entrepreneur's mindset on how can you utilize this because right now people just are stuck on this only.
Yeah.
And right now I'm thinking about it as any repetitive task inside of your business is worth building into AI. And when you say it can't do that, you're probably wrong. You have to go into that mindset of it can do that. People are super familiar with Zapier and the different types of things that you can really build in and connect to this system, to this system, this system. In my experience back in the olden days, you could only go like two or three levels deep, and then you needed a human to intervene. And then you have another Zapier process if you continue to automate that process all the way through. Well, now that's where you plug in AI and say, make this decision based on this logic and this strategy that I've always been making my own personal decisions for. And then it'll continue down the line.
As hard as it's been for corporate America to implement AI and like all the AI product launches and that have not gone as fast as they thought, the same in the SMB market. And I'm dealing with, a bunch of successful entrepreneurs every week. I was at two trade shows in New York last week, 150 people in the room, all of them doing over a million or two a year in sales, some of them doing 30 to 40, 50 million a year in sales. The presenter was a friend of mine, an AI colleague, and he said, all right, how many in the room here, by the way, it was a sold out event. packed room 2 days. And then he said, how many of the people in the room here are using AI in their business? And, he asked weekly, daily, monthly, only 4% raise their hand that they're using it daily. Like these
Wow.
are successful business owners and they're not using AI yet,
Wow.
which is kind of good and bad for like AI. If you think about the adoption of it, I think people just kind of doing a wait and see because it's that trend of, her early adopters. And I think that's where we are, found ourselves right here with early adopters, people who are willing to embrace it, implement it, roll it out. So,
Mhm.
I think the fact that you have clients that are willing to do it is good. I think the tidal wave's coming for companies willing to adopt it. So I don't see it as a bad thing. I think we just got a
Mhm.
lot of people sitting on the sidelines waiting to see how other projects go. And
Yeah. One thing that excites me is everything that we're building today will organically become better without our involvement because the models are getting better. So our conversational AI, for example, will constantly become better as models get stronger and stronger and latency goes down and
yeah,
um,
for sure.
even stuff like the website project that I was telling you about, that's something that OpenAI 5 has already drastically made that better. And like we
Yeah.
didn't have to touch it. We just had to change it from 4 to 5.
Yeah. No, I
And
like
which is
that.
actually really interesting from a conversational AI. We did a lot of analysis. We have a tool where we can actually see phone calls happening and then say, what if it was this model that we were using? And so we change out the parameters and then it says, okay, well, if you switched from 3.5 to 4.1, it would have said this. If you switched from 4.1 to 5, it would have said this, and the latency would have been this. And we're actually realizing that I almost think that voice AI has hit somewhat of a plateau for right now because like 5 is way too complex. It actually takes
Uh,
longer and it doesn't need that much intelligence. Like 4.1 was already smart enough.
and the voice AI is pretty fast now. Like 6 months ago, it was like you could tell, but now it's like sounds just like a human. And same with the N8N. Like everybody's like all these companies and providers started going that N8N automation route. Well, the only reason we're even touching these automations and putting them in place because we think we can maybe, if we can make it work really well, we'll partner with the client to roll it out to a bigger audience. Like if it works really well without a lot of breaks and human touch needs, then we may put a bow on it. And I did a research on voice AI to video interview your employees. I mean, it's like 3 to 5 grand a month. Yeah, so you can get some a little bit cheaper, but nothing like so anyway, we're looking at it and we're trying different AI solutions on different products and different problems and that are, but I love your product and I think you're going to kill it because I mean, who doesn't want a $2,000 a month bot chat receptionist coming in, calling their old leads, catering to their customers, reactivating the database of old customers, getting them into the showroom without a human touch and with only a small investment that really, I mean, this is the way of the future.
Yeah, yeah. Even humans in a call center are making anywhere between 100 to 200 phone calls a day, depending on how long those conversations are. They're getting paid 50 to $60,000 a month. If you put that at a $2,000 price point, the AI can make that many phone calls, or the amount of phone calls a human can make in a month, AI can make in a day.
Yeah,
We don't want to make it in a day because then it overwhelms the actual client with too many leads. So we drip that over a month still, but for $24,000 a month, it can do, I mean, 100x what a human can do.
I love it. And you're proving the point on. So I was listening to this pod. This guy, Dan Wardrobe, he had it's called Instant AI Agency. I wish I could do a big script. Oh, I can. So I was looking at this guy, Instant AI Agency. It's all about what you're doing. Database reactivation. He says is
Oh,
this is
wow.
like one of the most popular books on Audible.
Oh,
He
wow.
says it's one of the best, easiest ways to get a customer is to go reactivate their database, customize the output, and give them a option to reach out to their existing and old customers in an easy way, like you're doing.
Hmm.
And you're proving the point of that book. And I was listening to it a few weeks ago. I was like, that would be a good service to offer because you could really make a lot of money in helping companies reactivate, retouch for their old customers. So you're
Yeah.
doing that. Good for you. I hope you kill it.
Yeah, we personally haven't identified all the different industries that have that clean data. So many small businesses, they're like, I don't really have a CRM. I don't really have that type of stuff. But yeah, if you're a dentist office, for example, you have to have a some sort of CRM,
Yeah.
and that would be a really easy teeth cleaning style campaign to go ahead and
Yeah.
talk to those customers.
Yeah. No. And if you think about in a bigger, more money realm, like I think he was saying, go after financial type of customers
Mm. Oh yeah.
and insurance, finance. Yeah, he was saying go after the bigger and don't charge them, take a percentage of the revenue because you're just going to come into your CRM. Then you're going to see the appointments you get them and or the sales. So he's like, I'll reactivate your database for free. Comes in my CRM. Once they schedule an appointment, I hand it off to you. But now I know they schedule appointments. So you're paying me $300 for every appointment.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. So then you're just a normal lead generator, essentially.
And on autopilot.
Yeah.
So once you set it all up and they give you the data, it flows through and you just reactivate their data and found them money, which it
Mhm.
blows my mind. And all these clients and the companies that we've dealt with, we look at their CRM, they got 50,000 contacts. We're like, when's the last time you contacted these? Like, no, once they get out of the pipeline, they did the sale. I'm like, that's money sitting right there. You got tons of money just sitting there.
Or they did some sort of super generic cold email. So
Happy
that's
birthday
actually another
email.
really exciting thing that we've been doing with cold email for our own selves is email has just been you put in mail merges for like their company name and their first name, and most likely it's all caps or the company name's wrong. And so then it just flops because they're like, this sounds terrible. Right now, we're actually using this is just a solution anybody can use right now, but we're using Google Sheets, just the AI formula inside of Google Sheets, and we're highlighting the entire row and saying, based on what you guys know about this person, customize an email with this goal. And actually, we're taking it a step further. So, are you familiar with Apify?
Oh yeah.
So we're using Apify to crawl the domain of that company and then pull out. So then we put in Google Sheets all of the homepage copy. And so in one cell is just their homepage copy. Then we have another AI formula that says, what service are they offering? And then another one that says, do they have a niche or target market? And then we're using all of this data that we're compiling from their website that we've just crawled. We can also do the same with LinkedIn, but we haven't actually found a good perfect use case to see like somebody's career history. But with their website data, it's been incredible. Let's just say that you're emailing blue collar companies. So before we used to say, okay, we want a HVAC email to go out, and then it's going to be super HVAC specific, and then an electrician email, and so on and so forth. Now we can just bulk download the list that we want. It can be full of dentists and HVAC and electric and CFOs and marketing agencies, whatever it is. And then the cold emails, we're just doing one launch, but the entire email is just a mail merge based on that contact. So it's saying, hey, I've been really impressed by the amazing websites that you're creating for car dealerships. I'm just using that example because now the AI kind of knows exactly what it is. We're offering a voice AI that you could also sell in addition to what you're doing. So we're trying to a lot of our voice AI sales or some of our voice AI sales to small businesses are reseller and white label agreements. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we have built it to be white label first. So when they get the call recordings, they don't see our name on there. It's hosted on like a super generic URL.
Okay.
And right now, since there's not really a platform that we're hosting everything on, it's just a service. It's easy to do the service behind the scenes as long as the reseller can get us all the data and the strategy, and then we go ahead and launch it from there.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, hyper personalized outreach like that, it converts way better. We use Apollo,
Yeah, same thing.
with instantly with a little bit of clay scrape and get some information about the person you're about to email or text, and the more hyper personalized, the better conversion. Anybody
Yeah.
who's looking to get into that or do that or hiring you to do it for them, like that's one of your superpowers is being able to get personalized to the outreach because people respond to that. They feel like they're like, oh, this person has done their research on me. They know me. This conversation is going to be easy, so I'll respond. Like it just makes it easier for them to respond when
Yeah.
they know you know something about them.
And the emails are ugly. We've built our entire business on ugly direct mail. That ugly direct mail works way better than pretty direct mail.
Okay.
That's how I look at emails inside of Instantly right now is make them ugly, make them
Uh,
imperfect, and make the
Imperfect
lines like
looks
really short
human.
and small. Yeah.
Yeah, looks human. And people relate to that. Like, and amazing. It blows me away how much that converts. Like, because people feel like it's not just AI, and a lot of it, a lot of human touch goes behind it to get it perfectly imperfect, but also personalized, right? So,
Yeah,
uh,
inside of Instantly, it's wild to me how many people are thanking us but saying they're not interested. To me, that means that they felt like I personally typed that. And
yeah,
they would not
yeah,
respond to a normal old school cold email that way.
yeah. And I've never said no thanks to anything, like just like,
Yeah.
but people do.
Uh-huh.
Because they feel like you took the time to their problem, you got a solution. They're like, no, I don't need it right now.
Yeah. And then Instantly, that could be a whole nother segment or show, but like Instantly is so powerful. It's answering all of the people that are interested, or at least I think it adds a draft, and then sometimes I notice it sends it, sometimes it doesn't. I think it depends on how fast I get to it. Like if I
Yeah,
get to it within the hour, then I can change up the draft. If not, it just sends it. And
yeah,
then I had one client that was like, I had to learn how to use Instantly a little bit, but the client was like, "Why are you still emailing me?" I was like, sorry, that's my AI agent. They don't know that we had a Zoom call and we already sealed the deal and we're moving forward. And he was
yeah,
like, that's impressive. Because of course I'm selling AI agents to this guy. So he's already like, okay, that was a bug that you got to fix.
yeah,
But it's cool that like an AI agent sold me and you didn't sell me at all.
yeah.
And then I can keep the
I've been
process
called out
going.
and say like, I thought you're an AI agency. I'm like, sometimes the bot gets aggressive and like, yeah,
Yeah,
I've had the
we're
same.
still all new to this. I mean, it's funny when we hire people, we hire like voice AI prompt engineers and we're asking for experience and they're like, I mean, yeah, I mean, people just started doing it about a year to year and a half ago,
Yeah,
really. Some of the major platforms in voice AI just launched within the last 2 years. So
yeah,
nobody really has experience. If you're starting today, next month you have experience.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's wrap this up with like, if someone were to do it themselves, which they won't because they'll just hire you, what is your best advice for a car dealership or a business like that you service? What's your best advice on them on getting AI implemented in their business?
Yeah, so from a voice AI standpoint, I think there's platforms out there like Simple Talk that, I think it's still a big onboarding fee, but that's kind of them doing it themselves. And then they provide a structure that essentially we're providing. Um, that's kind of the DIY component. I would say all of our stuff is built on N8N and plugs in all of the different voices and text to speech and voice technology. So that's definitely not a good DIY version. I would say automating processes, I wouldn't go the N8N route unless you're a techie. I would go Zapier or make.com
Right.
and think about all the things that you really need. Unless you have the budget to hire an engineer, then N8N is really great. But play around first, because I think it's important in this day and age right now to learn some of this on your own and
Mhm.
try to experience if you have the time to really experiment with it, because this is like how, back in the day when my mom was getting a job, she had to learn how to type at 60 words a minute. Like that's how important this is. I
Yeah.
think everybody's going to need to know this knowledge. You don't have to become the AI engineer, but just how I train the managers in any of our companies right now is learn how to do what your employees do so that way you can manage them better. And I
Good.
think that's super important.
Yeah, good point. All the SMBs, if only 10% have implemented AI, the other followers are coming soon. So I think we're about to see an avalanche of companies implementing AI because now they see that it's working. Becoming an AI first company and beating your competition to it, it's like it gives you a strategic advantage. So
Mhm.
I think you're gonna kill it with this. You're already on your way. You're doing really well. And I'm glad that we got to connect. How do people get in touch with you, Car Dealer AI? And then you talked about your other agency, Marketer.
Yeah, either cardealer.ai or top marketer, but feel free to email me at Jon at cardealer.ai. I also have Instagram and YouTube called JB Growth. It's JAYBEE, the word growth. You'll see a lot more AI content there on YouTube. We have a ton of content, a lot more long form content. Instagram is a little bit more focused on business advice and just being an entrepreneur.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
This is probably the most tech interview I've done this cycle. So I'm glad that we were able to focus on that because it adds to some of the audience that likes to hear tech solutions. And I bet just because of the keywords we use, I bet you this one gets picked up by the bots and viewed by more people because of all the technologies we covered. So
Yeah.
thank you
It's
for
crazy
that.
to see the YouTube traction. I just started like 2 months ago, and it's all AI content, and
I
people
know.
are just eating it up.
I love it. I interview a lot of successful business owners, but we don't get this techie because it's mainly about business. And but I like this because we're able to talk about what it takes to implement the tech and what you're doing to help other businesses be successful. So
Yeah,
we got a good mix of tech versus strategy and business. So that's cool.
excellent. Well, thanks for the meeting, Clayton. Yeah, I know you
Yeah, same
tagged
here.
me on another phone call that you had with a group, so thanks for
Yeah.
continuing to deliver value out there.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you too. And then we'll catch up again, maybe do version 2 of this because I'm sure in 6 months a lot of stuff's going to improve and change, and maybe we'll do another round of this.
I would love to see the follow-up. I would love to, after the follow-up, watch back at this and be like, wow, we don't do anything like that anymore.
Like
That's the
getting
old
in,
school
make,
process.
amplify. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. For so true. Cool,
Yeah.
man. All right, John. Thank you,
Good
buddy.
deal.
Appreciate you.
Great talking to you,
All
Clayton.
right, same here.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Cheers.